If a mass-murdering, knife-wielding lunatic in a spooky Halloween costume tried to turn your head into a beer tap and murder your friends and your loved ones again, what would you do? In this How to Beat video, I'm gonna break down the mistakes Sidney Prescott, Tatum, and the other victims made, what you should do, and how to beat the deepfake ghost faces in Scream 7. We start out following Scott and his girlfriend Madison. Scott's a Stab franchise buff, which is why they're visiting Stu Macher's house for the ultimate Scream or Stab experience. Scott says a man fitting Macher's description was spotted at a sorority party at the Windsor College in 1997, the same year the murders took place. Quite a thrilling adventure visiting the scene of a homicide, which is the home of the murderer, who is speculated to have survived and may be at large. It's all fun and games. There's a fake robotic ghost face that jump scares Madison, fake knives and blood, white outlines, even a call from the ghost face himself. Scott even jump scares Madison too. Like I said, it's fun and games. Until Scott notices that the robot ghost face moved differently than before. He leans in close to investigate.
What?
What's the point in checking something creepy out if you have no way to deal with it if it turns out to actually be a threat? On that matter, I wouldn't be caught dead in this place without a piece. Just saying. Madison gets chased around the house and up the stairs, gets a lucky shove-in which knocks Ghostface off the upper floor. Unfortunately, that move sent her swinging from the chandeliers. Her grip slips, and she lands right on his knife.
Will the judges please reveal their scores?
10.
While she's incapacitated, he douses her in gas and sets the home on fire. Well, looks like the rumors were true. We start following Sidney Prescott, her police officer husband Mark, and her daughter Tatum. From the get, Sidney is chronically on high alert, for obviously good reasons, while her daughter, not so much. She's busy with boys and theater, and besides, her mom's not too interested in reliving her nightmare past. It's all meet the friends and boyfriends and family and jerk teacher and Sidney serving coffee at her shop. Sidney gets what she thinks is another routine prank ghost face call until he FaceTimes her to threaten her daughter.
Do not talk about my daughter.
Oh, it's showtime.
Sidney peels out in her Toyota, whips her Glock out of the center console, and calls her cop husband to send all units to the school. When she rushes in, it's not Sidney getting slashed. It's her friend Hannah, dangling from her theater harness. Honestly, there's simply nothing Hannah could have done. She was hanging up in the rafters with no idea that she was up next. Nerds. Ever since I've been using ChatGPT, Gemini, and other generative large language model AIs, part of me's always been interested, somewhat suspicious, of how they actually work. Luckily, Brilliant's got a course on how AI works to help me understand the mechanics behind AI, how they predict using probabilities, why context windows matter, how models improve, plus concepts like tokenization, gradients, layered data, semantic geometry, sigmoids, and more across 31 lessons and 139 exercises. Using Brilliant's step-by-step interactive lessons and personalized practice, I can actually learn this by petting it, living with Chester and Lester, the cats, understanding how their brain neurons are connected and how they learn, then relating that to far more complex computers. I like how Brilliant explains concepts with cute animals, instead of turning it into a coding jargon slog. I'm nowhere near the end, but I'm already learning some pitfalls of the current AIs, like over-predictiveness, while also seeing how more advanced systems could open up huge opportunities. Getting a mental grasp on tech that'll revolutionize the human race seems like a good idea, and I'm glad Brilliant makes it easy. Brilliant is a guided interactive problem-solving platform with courses crafted by instructors from MIT, Harvard, and Stanford. It helps you build skills and excel in a wide variety of specific subjects designed for ages 10 to 110. To learn for free on Brilliant for a full 30 days, go to brilliant.org/nerdexplains, scan the QR code on screen, or click on the link in the description. Brilliant's also given our viewers 20% off an annual premium subscription, which gives you unlimited daily access to everything on Brilliant. Thanks to Brilliant for sponsoring this video. Sidney runs in after the ghost face, finding Oliver Twist's throat slit wide open. No sign of the ghost face. Gotta say, it's refreshing to see Sidney's got good trigger discipline, which probably saved her daughter's life, because she came busting out the side door in her big leather jacket. The police said to cover all the exits, but nobody really did. They should have had enough cops to leave a couple of units outside the school to guard the perimeter, ensuring nobody goes in or out. At which point, it's simply a matter of clearing the entire school until you find the perp. A common tactic that would save a lot of people's lives. Afterwards, the police check the alibis of all the usual teen suspects. Lucas says he was home with Jessica, who corroborates. The teacher said he went home, had a light dinner, and was sipping on an Aperol Spritz. Whoa! Why did you have a light dinner? Is that because you didn't want a full stomach while you were running around murdering that young girl? Sir, I'm gonna need to search your trash for evidence of this Aperol Spritz.
What? What'd I do? Oh, Jesus!
Chloe says she was downstairs in the costume shop, which Ben contradicts, saying she wasn't down there when he was. Tatum adds that Ben and her were in the dressing room, and then Ben left, leaving her alone. Tatum corroborates Ben in that neither saw Chloe in the dressing room. Chloe responds that she wasn't in the dressing room the entire time. Alright, throwing your homegirl under the bus in front of the cops during an investigation is a bitch move. And I don't mean a mean girl put a chocolate cupcake in her seat before she sits down on it in the cafeteria. I mean moving her up to top suspect in a murder investigation. Bitch move. This is going to be something you discuss afterwards with her, at which point you can decide if she's still suspicious enough to make another statement to the detective. In any case, the detectives are supposed to be taking statements from witnesses and suspects individually anyways. The detectives are supposed to be taking statements from witnesses and suspects individually anyways, away from other people who will chime in, intimidate others, and muddy the statements with what's called memory contamination, where people naturally start to agree with each other's version of events if they hear them. The goal is to identify inconsistencies, which is harder to do when taking group statements. Statements like, I was home. Yeah, he was home with me. Need to be taken individually so that you can collect the times, behaviors, clothes, etc. when Lucas got home, and making sure that lines up with Jessica's time that she saw him come home, and making sure that Lucas also saw Jessica. These details are kinda critical. I'm not even too suspicious of Lucas and Jessica right now. Going back to Tatum's bitch move, this is making her a suspect in my opinion. She's trying to divert the investigations to Chloe by inserting doubt into her alibi publicly. A real friend would have given her the benefit of the doubt and that maybe she was and then left, but didn't know the exact times this took place and she had left the dressing room earlier. We're talking about a 10-minute time span here. Sidney would have had to give a statement as well, and in this statement, she would describe how, when, and where Tatum was found. This statement would indicate that Tatum arrived from the last known location where Ghostface fled to, came out very nonchalantly like she had no idea what was going on.
Whoa, what are you doing?
Right. Obviously, that's a tough spot to disclose Tatum as the primary suspect, but it's honestly maybe not. Everyone here is a suspect who needs to be questioned and investigated as due diligence. Just because you're someone's daughter does not give you a free pass. So yeah, like I was saying, Tatum was getting clowned on by the main performer, Hannah, even though she was nice about it. Tatum had to be salty that she didn't get to be the princess. Not to the point of murder, perhaps. You never know. But throwing accusations at her friend in front of the cop, coming out the door right where Ghostface had fled to, acting like she had no idea what was going on. Like she didn't hear her mom screaming and popping rounds off one door over. And she didn't see or hear anyone come busting through. She has been a moody brat about her mom's past too, so I wouldn't be surprised if this was some sick cry for attention. Mark says whoever did this knew their way around here. It was well thought out and executed. Oh, like Tatum. I'm calling it now. Tatum is Ghostface. Sidney thinks it's Ben because Mark assured her that Stu was dead and the call that she got would have been a deep fake, which leads her to suspect Ben as he's taking computer science classes and could pull something like this off. When they get home, a couple cops do a cursory sweep of the house, and then they start packing their go bags to get out of Dodge. The lights go out. Mark and Sidney rush over to Tatum, who is now being held at knife point. Okay, maybe it's not Tatum. Well, at that range, Mark should easily be able to pull off the headshot. I mean, for Christ's sake, it's not like he has to draw. He's already aiming at the guy's head from like 5 feet away. I could make that shot if I was drunk. A shot through the tee box will obliterate his medulla oblongata, instantly severing any connection between his brain and his muscles. His body will go limp because the signal to clench or cut can no longer travel to his muscles. Now, a shot slightly too high can destroy his cerebrum, but will still leave the brainstem intact for a few seconds, which can trigger a convulsive reflex or cadaveric spasm, meaning he could go stiff and still swipe the blade into her neck. So Marky Mark here needs to zip around right through the bridge of their nose. Obviously, Ghostface is wearing a mask, but generally, a round fired more centrally will do the trick. The point is not to go too high for a headshot or pull the round down into the jaw. He can do it if he's had any decent training. But if he's like most cops and only shoots 100 or 200 rounds a year in training for their annual qualification course, maybe he's not trained or confident enough to fire a round 6 inches to the left of his daughter's head. The problem is that this isn't a mugger. This is a serial killer in your home. Putting the gun down's not really an option. Like it or not, Mark needs to take the dirty shot. Mark gets sent down the stairs knocked unconscious. Ghostface chases after Sidney and Tatum, who both rush into the panic room. Right before Sidney closes the door, she stiffs him with the end of an aluminum bat, knocking him on his ass. I'm assuming the police confiscated your Glock as evidence, but, like, where's your second one? You kept an aluminum bat by your panic room, and not a 12-gauge shotgun or AR? Okay. I'd think that if you need a panic room, you would also need a home defense gun. After she batted down Ghostface, I'd have hoped that she'd have stuffed Tatum in the panic room and tried to bash Ghostface's brains in. If Mark was with them, then yeah, shut it. But your husband and father of your daughter is out there unconscious with a serial killer who is undoubtedly going to murder him in front of you if you do nothing. But don't worry, Sidney thought this out. That's why she left the back of the panic room open to the crawl space, so she could sneak out. Tatum cries to come with her. Because this brainiac didn't think to stash another Thule in her human safe, now they're engaged in a cat and mouse game of squeezing around a crawl space while Ghostface is trying to stab them. Wow, this is stupid. Everyone throws each other around in the yard for a bit until Gale Weathers snowplows Ghostface with her SUV. After Sidney and her catch up with hugs and kisses, they eventually get around to unmasking the perp. It's some crazy guy from the coffee shop, Carl Allen Gibbs. He escaped from Fallbrook Psychiatric Hospital 2 weeks ago, and he was a triple murderer. After receiving another supposed deepfake call from Stu threatening her again, Sidney and Gale team up to get to the bottom of this by going to the insane asylum to tug on loose threads. The Woodsboro coroner says there's no intake form on Stu Macher's body. The woman who was coroner in '96 died 3 years ago, so there's no one to ask. Could it be a case of lost paperwork? Or stolen paperwork? Or maybe someone wants to make it look like Stu's body never made it to the morgue. Or it's actually Stu. There they find out that Carl was good friends with the man who's been FaceTiming Sidney. The staff member says he didn't know his own name, so they called him John Doe. He says John had amnesia from a blow to the head that gave him all those scars. He arrived around 16 years ago after attacking a high school girl and being declared too incompetent to stand trial. He was released 2 weeks ago. Great. You should probably let your husband know this critical information, that the attacker was a part of a duo and they're still in danger. Back home, Mark hears rustling in his plastic tarp maze clusterfuck of a garage. Literally thinks that it must have been the wind that opened the garage door and knocked the tools on the ground, and gets got. I don't know a single man who would have been baited into wandering aimlessly through the middle of this garage like that after his family was attacked by a serial killer. I mean, come on. This is ridiculous. It's a garage. There's one door to the house, and then the garage door. You're clearly not going to be painting or whatever anytime soon. So here's what you do if you can't wait for backup. Draw your gun. Lock the entry door. Enter from the garage door side, as opening it will provide significantly more light. The locked entry door will box the thug in, and then you hug the wall, pulling the tarps down as you go. You have the benefit of Ghostface handicapping himself by only using a knife. I bet you this would have ended with Ghostface full of holes instead. Tatum's great idea is to get all her friends in a room to all hash out the suspect list while her mom goes on live TV for a public interview with Gale Weathers. Right after they come off the air, Stu calls Sidney, threatening her daughter again, saying he's at the tavern with her. As Sidney speed walks to the tavern because she didn't think to grab Gale's car keys, Ben is walking Tatum to the car with his laptop cracked open with an OpenAI deepfake editing software morphing him into Stu. He says he was just playing around with it to see if it was possible. Yeah, that's not a good look, bro. Thinking he's the killer, Tatum smashes his face unconscious with her laptop, jumps out of the car, only to be staring at Ghostface approaching her in the parking lot. Oh my god! I'm guessing he lets Tatum run away because there is no chance he can sprint after her in open ground with that costume on. So Ghostface returns to the tavern to kill all of her friends, who she didn't think to call and warn. Chad and Mindy get diced. Chloe takes a glass shard through the jugular. And poor Lucas gets one hell of an execution. Ghostface planted his head on the beer tap handle, turning his mouth into an open spigot. Jesus. Oh dang, he did catch up with her. Has to be another Ghostface then. Tatum smashes a board over his head and runs over to a flower bed cart to hide, peeking left and right and left again as Ghostface walks away, suddenly getting jump scared by Ben, which she thinks absolutely nothing of. Is Tatum really this stupid? The guy with the deepfake morphing himself into Stu on his computer, you also knowing that there's multiple assailants, knowing there's no possible way that Ghostface miraculously disappeared from the street and Ben somehow snuck up next to her at the exact same time without being seen. It's almost comical Scooby-Doo bullshit. Okay, so Ben's not Ghostface. But I don't take back what I said. This is just ridiculous movie magic M. Night Shyamalan plot twist nonsense. Unless that was just a collapsible knife and Ben's faking it. Entirely possible, wouldn't rule it out.
Corn syrup. Same stuff they use for pig's blood in Carrie.
Tactically, Tatum should simply keep running and staying in the open. She has the cardio and wardrobe advantage. She can see people coming from a distance and maintains options for where to run. Hiding in her mom's coffee shop is not only obvious, it provides zero protection with the large windows and corners you in. Sidney texts Tatum that there's a gun in the office, so she runs in there right as Ghostface puts in the shop code and chases after her. Tatum locks the door in time, then barricades it with the shelf and desk. Then her mom calls her to tell her where the gun is, the safe combo, and how to use the Chrome M9. Nice piece she's got there. Miraculously, Tatum doesn't shoot herself in the head by accident while fumbling the safety off. In an outrageous display of coordination, Sidney uses the shop cameras to guide Tatum into making a blind fire shot through the wall to hit Ghostface as he's walking around. Now, it's reasonable to expect Ghostface may be wearing body armor, which is why her mom correctly yells at her to go out there and make the headshot. You could say it'd be wise for her to just stay inside at the safety of the office, but the problem is that they really need to end this threat now, because the killers will keep killing and keep coming until they do. I would add that after Tatum smokes this dude with a headshot, she should go back in the office and barricade it again. Tatum does in fact go out there, but hesitates far too long to take the shot. It's more round-robin Jackie Chan rush hour bullshit. Tatum gets a good hit in with the chair, only to turn around and find another Ghostface walking in behind her. Sidney gets another call. The Ghostfaces have Tatum hostage back at her home. When Sidney arrives, the Ghostfaces make their reveal with Tatum at knife point. It's the dude from the psychiatric hospital and Jessica? Why Jessica? Okay, they go on to say, because in her head, Sidney showed her that killing your tormentors freed her, prompting her to murder her abusive husband. And then when Sidney left town, she got sad or something? I don't know. It's really dumb. And Marco, she met him at the mental institution she committed herself into afterwards. Oh, and she killed her son Lucas because he reminded her of her husband. Like I said, it's all really contrived and dumb. Sidney drops her gun. They drag out Mark, who's somehow still alive despite his grievous wounds. He uses a switchblade that they didn't confiscate from his body during a weapon search to free Tatum's leg restraints. At the right moment, Tatum headbutts Jessica, and Sidney whips out her second gun for a headshot. Jessica flees, tries to stage an ambush on Sidney. There's more back and forth fighting with screwdrivers and power cables, until Tatum beams Jessica. Oh, you thought it was over? Well, in the 1 millisecond that Tatum looks down to see if her mom's okay, Jessica vanishes like Batman.
He does that.
The two women armed with gats move out in search of her. It doesn't take long because Jessica comes out screaming and running with a screwdriver. I'd say they successfully got the headshot in. A lot of them. Mark is taken to the hospital, his condition unknown, but I guess he'll probably survive. The movie ends. Ultimately, the Ghostfaces in Scream 7 were beaten, though they would have been a lot earlier with the proper usage of firearms and clearing techniques. Seriously, that snap headshot Sidney made on Marco from a 6 o'clock draw, and her cop husband couldn't pop Ghostface from 5 feet away while aiming at his head? Bro, hand the gun to your wife next time. Moral of the story, get a gun, train with it, and shoot bad guys in the head.